Let's now move on to our fourth and final main topic today. And our fourth and final main topic today gets submitted to us by Nicholas Mireles, who writes, where did he go? There he is. Nicholas Mireles writes, big fan since the AMC days. Thank you so much, Nicholas. So it was just announced that the animated Harley Quinn show is going to premiere its first season on SyFy. SyFy. While this is great, it had me wondering, is the DC streaming service obsolete? Stargirl is already set to run simultaneously with the CW, and Doom Patrol has already been confirmed for HBO Max. That means the only exclusive left for the DC universe is Titans and Young Justice. And frankly, I won't be surprised if both of them go to HBO Max. All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, and as a matter of fact, Nicholas, you're asking a question I've kind of been wondering about a lot myself recently. HBO Max is coming out. We talked about this yesterday or the other day and talked about all the other services that are going to kind of be rolled in to HBO Max. And the question would be, what's the point of there being a DC universe anymore? The streaming service, DC Universe. What's the point of it? Now, this comes to us from Superhero Hype that writes, the first 4 episodes of Harley Quinn will hit SyFy on Sunday, May the 3rd. From there, SyFy will air the remainder of the first season in 3-episode blocks every Sunday. I love that. That's great to me. That's like mixing the best of both worlds of a little bit of binging and a little bit of week to week. I kind of like that. They will release the first season in 3-episode blocks every Sunday night for the rest of the month. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the network has any plans to air episodes from the second season, which is currently airing on DC Universe earlier this month. That, of course, is from Superhero Hype. And Rob, it really does raise the question. When we see things like, I think the DC Universe's one of their 2 best shows, Doom Patrol, already been confirmed it's going to be on HBO Max. Now we're seeing Harley Quinn, the other of the best shows on the DC Universe. I love this show so much. This show is going to be on SyFy. We've already heard about some other DC Universe stuff is going to be popping up on HBO Max too. And with HBO Max in this situation right now, where they seem to be, accumulating all their properties kind of into this HBO Max window, they're, everything from, whether it's TBS, CNN, this, that, or the other, they're doing a whole bunch of things to bring this in. And with the DC Universe streaming, like canceling entire shows after 1 episode, like they did with Swamp Thing, and not seeming to know what to do with a lot of the other stuff, I think it sounds like a harsh question to ask, but I think it's a fair question to ask. Is there a point to DC Universe, the streaming service, existing at all with HBO Max coming? Or wouldn't it just be smarter for Warner Brothers to take everything they're doing on DC Universe and roll it into HBO Max to make it an even more attractive product? And right now, seeing them kind of pillar off their own properties to different things, I don't think the future looks good for this thing. I'll be honest with you. I'm thinking I'm going to cancel my as soon as I'm done watching this season of Harley Quinn, I think I'm going to probably be canceling my DC Universe subscription. Rob, in this era right now, with HBO Max on the way and all that kind of stuff, is there a point for DC Universe to still exist? Or do you think actually there's still a lot of potential here for it to exist alongside of an HBO Max? What do you think?
Bruh. R.I.P. DCEU or DC Universe. I mean, look, it was a good idea. The problem was, again, I feel that as the streaming wars have developed, look, the DC Universe, the idea that they were going to combine comics themselves and make them digitally available on these new shows, great idea. Great idea, because HBO Max hadn't been conceived of yet. But this idea that it's going to coexist, I mean, everything is going to go under the HBO Max umbrella. It has to. That's just the way of the world. That's what's going to happen. And it is definitely an inevitability. And I absolutely think it is the right move. It has to be done. And unfortunately, what I love the idea of a dedicated DC streaming service, but if you've only got 2 shows, and it's not like Swamp Thing. I mean, unfortunately, look what happened to that.
Yeah.
And we're in a situation now where the streaming wars are now going to be wars against giant behemoths, like that video game, The Shadow of Colossus. You know, the Colossi are going to be battling it out, and HBO Max is definitely a behemoth. I mean, it competes up against Netflix, Disney Plus. I mean, HBO Max might be. I mean, it might not have the diversity yet that a Netflix has. I mean, look at all the great shows. Even foreign shows like Money Heist are dope on Netflix. They're great. Korean zombie shows like Kingdom getting season 2, and they're making more. But HBO Max has all of HBO, all of Warner Brothers back catalog, and whatever else they're going to acquire from third-party vendors or third-party producers. It's a force to be reckoned with, and of course they're going to want to put. I think a subset of DC shows would be a natural on HBO Max. Absolutely. I mean, HBO already made Watchmen, which is arguably probably the classiest show ever made from a DC property. So I expect great things as far as exploiting the DC library from HBO Max. I unfortunately, I don't even know how it's hanging on. How DC Universe is hanging on, dude.
It brings up another interesting dilemma too. In this era of the streaming wars, we already have people, including this guy, that are questioning, there's too many. I can't pay for all these. You know, somebody was bringing up one of the really good shows on Stars the other day, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay for Stars. I already pay for ESPN Plus and for Hulu and for Disney Plus and for Netflix and for Amazon Prime and for a couple of other things. I mean, I'm already paying for CBS All Access and this, and I'm gonna get I've got HBO Now, so that means I'm gonna have HBO Max. I pay for too much stuff already in an era when we're asking consumers to have so many of these things. It seems, I'm going to use the word disingenuous for a company like Warner Brothers to even consider having the DC Universe as a separate pay for more stuff when it's a part of their company anyway, and you're already kind of siphoning off the properties from it to put under, just absorb it into HBO Max, give us the consumer one less thing we have to pay for while still giving us the content, and make HBO Max look even more appealing. Because Rob, you've pointed this out before yourself, that HBO Max is coming out of the gate late. They're coming out of the gate late, where you got Disney Plus got the jump on them. Netflix has already been way in the lead for a long time. You're going to need to make a real statement coming out. Why not make that statement as big as you can, conglomerate as much stuff as you can? At least that's the way I see it. I think you're absolutely right, Rob. I think that's the way they need to do it. Question here is, guys, what do you think about this? Do you think they absolutely should roll this in HBO Max, or do you see some upside and some benefit to keeping a unique and separately paid for DC Universe service? Maybe there's some upside to that. How do you guys see it? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.